So I had the pleasure of trying to follow that. Gosh, it's going to be fun. So I vent a lot on Sunday mornings. I just kind of come up here and I'm like, blah, blah. And a lot more since last November. Because it's like we're in a time machine going back decades full throttle. I mean, prior to this, I had become so infuriated with American Christianity because since the birth of Roman Christianity and after the dawn of Puritanism, the church has adopted values and a theology that, to be honest, is not even present in the scriptures. And now, not only do I have to deal with that, but I got to deal with this clown just spouting nonsense and dragging my God into it every week, and it pisses me off. By the way, there's going to be some language in this. So I'm warning you right now, this is a PG-13 sermon. So for the new folks that are the first time you're here, let me clear some things up about Scripture. Not that you have to be a Christian to be here, but I'd like to give my faith some defense, because it's been hijacked for quite some time. The word translated as homosexual in the Bible does not have anything to do with sexuality in the original language of Scripture. Those words, all of them, either mean rapist, pedophile, or greedy in the original language of Scripture. They don't have anything to do with sexuality. And contrary to popular evangelical belief, like Franklin Graham's statement this past week, there is no mention of different gender identities being sinful in the Scripture. In fact, in Galatians 3, Paul says this. He says, there is no longer Jew or Greek in the church. There is no longer slave or free. There is no longer male and female, for all of you are one in Christ Jesus. This statement is a declaration of equality and a mandate, catch that, for the church to abolish both privilege and class. Paul was singing One Love before it was cool, y'all. This statement was so radical for its time because Paul is writing a letter to a people of which some felt that others were not worthy of the same rights and privileges as others. I'll give you some examples. Women and slaves were not allowed to own property because they were property at that time. Greeks were not wanted in church at that time because they did not submit themselves to be mutilated as adults for the sake of ritual, which honestly, you may want to rethink adult circumcision as a club requirement if you want new recruits. Not the best sales pitch for adult dudes, let me tell you. Oh, you want to follow Jesus? That's great. Well, your resume looks immaculate. Everything looks good. You meet every qualification, but there's one little thing we got to take care of first. I mean, that's pretty much how it went down. So needless to say, many Greeks weren't thrilled about following Jesus at first, and that ticked Paul off. Paul is breaking down the concept of privilege and class. The notion of complete equality for all was foundational for the early church and the earliest followers of Christ. So to conservative evangelicals, I say this. If various sexual identities is not mentioned as sinful in the Scriptures, in the original language, and all gender identities were considered equal to the earliest followers of Christ, then those topics shouldn't damn matter now, right? Now I'm about to shift into a conversation about the military. And can I be honest with y'all for just a minute? This sermon was extremely difficult for me to write because I am pro-LGBTQ and I am anti-military industrial complex. So please do not confuse this sermon as a pro-military industrial complex message. And by the way, it is possible to be pro-soldier and anti-war machine. Is more about Donald Trump's statement about his desire to take away opportunity from people that are already oppressed in this nation. And regardless of whether or not I think the military should even exist, this message is about justice. So let's dive in. Donald Trump claimed that the medical needs of the trans community is too high for the military to bear. Really? The fiscally engorged entity known as the United States military cannot afford something? Let's look at their priorities, y'all. The medical expenses of all trans soldiers, including sick leave, we're talking antibiotics, ibuprofen, and work-related injuries, is $8.4 million annually. The United States spends 10 times that amount on Viagra alone for their soldiers. And by the way, Christians, if you think transitional surgery isn't God's will because of one's present anatomy, then erectile dysfunction is God's will too. But let's not compare medical expenses, because the U.S. doesn't really take care of soldiers. They don't take care of vets. Let's look at where their real priorities are, y'all. This is shocking. One F-35 fighter jet is $168 million to build. We built 183 of them, and 40% will never see combat, and 20% will never be used. We built these after the United States wasted over $1 trillion on developing the F-22. Not billion, $1 trillion on an aircraft that fundamentally failed, and 55% of them are grounded. They can't fly. $500 billion wasted. Each aircraft carrier that we have costs $4.8 billion annually to operate. That doesn't include the salaries of the crew on board each aircraft carrier. And these things are as big as small towns. Now, here's what's wild. We have 11 aircraft carriers. The rest of the world, the entirety of the world, has 8 combined. Ridiculous. But let's be honest about Trump's statement. We know, we can see through the BS, Donald Trump, that this was a distraction and had nothing to do with budget, but with appealing to the bigotry of your voting base. So this week, I want to write you and your voting base a nice letter. Can I read y'all that letter, please? Yeah. By the way, the fact that I can share this letter openly in this church and not get fired is a testament to everything you're doing right and everything that the rest of the churches in this country needs to learn from. So here we go. We're going to dive right in. Donald Trump, as a pastor, I'm appalled that you brought God's name into your tweet by saying, in America, we put God, not government, first. You did this the very day you also announced that your mission is that trans people would no longer be allowed in the military. And I think your claims of putting God first is a total fabrication, or let's put it in your language, Donald Trump, fake news. I say that because the God I worship would want LGBTQ people to have equal opportunity. The God I worship would want free health care for the entire world, but definitely wouldn't support a bill that requires 22 to 31 million American citizens being without it. The God I worship would have never condoned dropping the mother of all bombs, and the God I worship especially would frown upon the usage of such a monstrous weapon without congressional approval. The God I worship would not want the poor to suffer more in order to fatten the pockets of those that are already wealthy. The God I worship would not brush off sexual assault as locker room talk. The God I worship would not have banned Muslims. The God I worship builds tables for all nations to sit, and that God does not waste billions of tax dollars on constructing walls to further divide people. Donald Trump, the God I worship, welcomes refugees. The God I worship created this earth in its entirety and therefore cares about the welfare of our planet. And that means that my God would have certainly signed the Paris Climate Accords. The God I worship would not allow religious zealotry to dictate who gets and who doesn't get service in the private sector. And the list goes on and on to give distinction between my God and whatever it is you worship. Because, Trump, your actions have been as far from the realm of worship to God as the corners of the east are from the west. Your actions are an abomination because you distort God's image by using God's name for selfish ambition, corporate welfare, and in order to further both the hatred and violence of those that are already under society's boot. And Donald Trump, by the way, if you were truly as passionate with worshiping God as you have claimed on Twitter this week, then would not God's name be on all of your towers instead of your own? Wow. And also, just a side note, your claim to put God, not government, first is bogus. Maybe you should put governance first, considering that America supposedly has the separation of church and state as a foundational principle, and political structure should be important for you, Donald Trump, because with all due regret, you're the damn president for the next 3 years, unless you're impeached, which I pray for multiple times a day. Donald Trump, I don't pretend that this statement from a lowly reverend is ever going to find you, because I'm not a tweet or a golf club. However, I give you my word that every time you drag the name of my all-loving God through the mud and into your bullshit agenda, I am drafting your name and your bullshit agenda into my sermon. Every time I give you my word. Amen. To my friends here, I say this: it is time to change the world, and you cannot change the cultural reality of the present with silence. You cannot educate others by not being willing to offend those who believe in hatred. It is time, catch this, to lovingly but firmly call out hateful and bigoted views held by those in each of our circles of influence, while simultaneously refusing to continue the cycle of hatred by hating them back. You can call out people you love while still loving them, because love might be patient, but love is loud. It is time to make this nation open and safe for all people. And here's a fact: all people aren't truly safe if bigots are comfortable. It is time to shut ignorance down, not with violent action, but with powerful and intentional words. May we mark this day in our history, July 30th, 2017, as the day when people of all faiths will stand up to those who devalue others, and as a day when we as one people will refuse to tolerate intolerance. Grace and peace to every one of you. At this time, I want to invite you to get us up. This is a very special part of our service every week. It is a symbol of solidarity and community and belonging. If you voted for Donald Trump, you're welcome here. But I'm not going to be silent in the face of bigotry and ignorance anymore. I refuse to do that. And if that upsets you, I apologize. There's nothing more I can do. If you threaten to leave and never come back to the church, we will love you and we'll hold the door open for you. But this will be a safe space for all people.